Some books feel like manuals and others invitations. Or maybe some are like a billet doux. That's me trying to be fancy,
It's Francais.
which means love letter or a sweet note. You may be asking yourself,
Noah, Wyrm, what are we talking about? What are we here for?
Well, let me tell you.
I'm here to talk about Order of Eventide. This was done by Chris and Chad. I will have links to all their socials and their websites down below. This is a pen and paper RPG for 1 to 4 players. I'm going to be talking about the art and a lot of other things that you kind of look at first glance. And also why I just love this book and how much of a love letter to 4 Against Darkness. So very quickly, you may be like,
What is Order of Eventide?
it is a solo cooperative dungeon crawling RPG board game hybrid. You create a party of heroes, or 1 or 2, depending on how you want to play it, and you go basically into a generated dungeon that you generate. You fight enemies, you grab loot, and slowly work through a full campaign about uncovering basically the mysterious big bad evil lurking in the dark. And one of the things that I want to say about this is that, do you need a GM? No. And this book is not an oracle. It's more like, what is it they have in football? A referee. Jesus Christ. You can basically play it as solo or with up to 4 people. Everyone running 1 or more heroes, depending on how you want to play it. Sessions are designed to be short and sweet, basically, around 22, maybe an hour and a half. So you can kind of like chain a couple together or just kind of do it when you can between real life things. Let's talk about the art. I want to talk about this first because the art in this is going to be the first thing that you're going to notice is how beautiful the art is. Like, let's just go straight into it. Look, a map. I love it when books have maps. Absolutely beautiful. The whole thing, now, this is going to be difficult for me to talk about because I am colourblind, unfortunately. When I showed this to Ven, who is an amazing booktuber, someone I do play Dungeons and Dragons with whenever we can get together, which is tough sometimes because everyone's kind of dotted around, he did mention that this thing is full of colour and kind of like the different kind of like things kind of going on in it. The main thing that I like about this is not just the art. I love when people have art in books like this, but it's also how clean everything is to read. Everything's really straightforward. Everything has their own section. Nothing kind of overlaps and goes where it doesn't need to go. So the main thing that I want to say is about the art is that all the images kind of feel like glimpses from the world and its own history. The cover, look at that full moon going on, the cloaked figures. I say cloaked. They've got somewhat cloaks. They've got their own clothes going on. I mean, it'd be weird if they were a bit naked on there. But it already tells you that this is a campaign book and it's not just like a pamphlet. The main thing is that the creators, Chad and Chris, have constantly said everywhere that you go, they've always been straightforward and honest about this, is that the artwork is generated using AI tools and then edited manually for consistency and to clean up things inside of it. So if you're curious about the production and everything like that, it's right there on the site. They are very honest, very open about this, and I appreciate that about them. I'm fine with like AI generated stuff, but I appreciate the support of artists and things like that, because I have a friend called Nida Reeses, who is an amazing artist. I'll put links down to her stuff as well. And I always, whenever I get art done for my stuff, I always pay on Fiverr for some artists, and we talk about things, and I like to support them. But I don't see a problem with this when people are straightforward and they don't lie about it. But yeah, everything is on the site. What matters at the table, though, is the effects. The art supports everything, the tone, the heroes, and everything else kind of like thrown in between. It matches the idea of a long campaign, even though you're going to live for quite a little while for all the things kind of going on in it. I also want to talk about, obviously, we've got like the random pieces of art of the regions that you can go to, like Torgal is one of them. There's one of 6, by the way. But it's mainly the one thing that I want to talk about is obviously we've got like some of the bosses in this, like the art is beautiful. All the art matches, it's not all just like random. Like I said, they got it all sorted out. They got it edited manually, sorry. But the main thing is the races in this. There's so many races in this. For a small book like this that is solo RPG but also cooperative, the amount of races that you instantly get in this, sorry, I skipped past some, is amazing in this. Because normally you have like other expansions going on and then people kind of make their own custom thing and sometimes they sell that. But this comes with, I think it's 16 different races already in this book. This is the website, by the way. It's pretty much orderofeventide.com. Obviously, they go through the features, they go through, obviously, how you can play. Really easy, really simple. All you need is the book, pencil, and 2 6-sided dice. No game master required, which is what I said before. 1 to 2 hour play sessions. Obviously, we go through the regions in this, and they go into it. When you click on them, they go through it. Obviously, it goes through the system, the blunders, the surges of rolling a 1 and a 6, which I love. And then we've got, like, the races. Here we are. Human, elf, dwarf, halfling, half ogre, centaur, gnome, faun, half drake, tigerkin, talpock, rockskin, outlander, apex. I hate that word apex, so it's not their fault. I think it's just I've seen enough books being a booktuber with the word apex in it. And I've heard people say it as well, like, no. Merfolk, Silvera, which very much reminds me of Final Fantasy, by the way. It's not my favourite Final Fantasy. What is it? Final Fantasy, where the kid's like,
I'm going to be a pirate. I'm an orphan.
It reminds me of that one. And then we've got Empyrean. I'm going to butcher this. Kenna. And then went Drid, or Dryad, if you do D&D like me. Obviously got the classes, they go by tiers. So tier 1 is basically the simple thing, and you level up the tiers. As you can see, you go into level 2 versions of it, and you get more choices for each class. And then you kind of go into the 3rd tier, where you get stronger and stuff like that, and it's just beautiful. Obviously, it goes into the artwork, it tells you how it was generated using Midjourney AI, and edited manually. Make your own artwork, you can generate your own images, heroes, enemies, and more with Midjourney. We love to see the art you generate. And they even put the thing there, so if you want to send them stuff like that, because they want to see, they're very much within the community. They do have a Discord, by the way, but it's also the resources. We have different kind of character sheets. Then we've got the combat sheet and then the dungeon sheet. These are also in the back of the book, by the way, but they are there. There's battle mats, which you can use to kind of help keep track if you're not good at keeping track on paper. They have battle mats that you can print off. Easy and simple. And then they've got their own YouTube channel, which is linked down below, of how to do things. And everything is simple and easy. As I was saying, one of the things that I really appreciate is how straightforward this game is to actually use. It's so easy. It's very much 4 Against Darkness, love letter, orgy, whatever you want to call it. But more of a quality of life improvements on it that do show pretty fast. You're not reading 300 pages of lore like you would with other sort of campaigns and other tabletop RPGs. Before you even have to roll the die, the book is set up so that you can start by building heroes and then learn the system through the early scenarios. When I say early scenarios, it's pretty much you pick a region with the lowest level and you go on from there. The main thing is also about this is that I love the character generation in this. Because it's not that you have these crazy rolls like you do in D&D where you have to roll for each stat. And then you have the modifiers and things like that. You have the base stat for the class and then the base stat for the race. And you just kind of smush them together and that's what you get. And there's nothing to do with all this equipment stuff. Like, yes, there is equipment, but it's very much like it's all down to your imagination. It's if you have a melee weapon, you pick what kind of melee weapon it is. And everything kind of does the same damage. But if you want to make it fancy for your art and how you want your character to look while you're solo RPGing or in a campaign with others, you can go crazy with that. And I love that that gives you this wide variety of things you can do with your character instead of being stuck looking like a hobo. The main thing is that the structure for this is very clear. You basically create heroes 1 to 4, you generate a dungeon, you explore, you fight, you loot, you return to town, you progress, and you go through that loop again. And the one thing that I say is very much why it's like 4 Against Darkness is because of four heroes, but it does in the back come with different solo and roleplay rules, and the fighting's pretty much the same. Simple. And it's beautiful. The only difference is, instead of having to, let's say when you roll to attack, you aim obviously for the level and above, and then when you defend from them you have to roll above that level and higher. It's pretty much a standard, you have to hit this mark or both. So you're not going, oh well, I've got to do it this way and this way. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of 4 Against Darkness, and when I saw this I was like, yes, and I'm going to love this book. But yeah, it's pretty much 4 Against Darkness. That loop is going to feel very familiar. It's just dressed a lot fancier and more board gamey. Yeah, this is your standard type of character sheet. Very easy that you can print off on the website. They've got everything on there and also in the back of the books. There's different ones that you can get and do. This is if you want to do kind of like a solo one, if you just want one character. Everything's straightforward. I like how they put a little hero portrait in there so that if you do art, if you draw yourself, or you do use AI generated stuff, that option is there for you. And then it adds things that you can get, which obviously the tiers that you can upgrade and go into, the titles that you can get, which also help, and then there's guilds in there as well. This is your combat sheet. You tick which kind of one it is, the enemy, the level, the notes and stuff, how many you do, and these dots at the top that kind of dot around, when it's their turn you dash it off so you know where you're up to with them. I like that it comes with stuff on the side instead of having to have things printed off separately. I love that. And then you have the dungeon. You always start here. This is the entrance. You roll on the generator in the book and you build up and add to it. They say now you don't have to have it like that. You can just get a blank sort of dotted or square line sheet and you can just go on and kind of build your own in there, but it's kind of much more of like a template that you can go off and kind of customize it yourself. The main thing with these is that they want you to just go crazy with your own imagination. But what I really like about this is the replayability for it. Even if you run the same campaign twice, you come at it with a different sort of gameplay and party each time. Even though the book is kind of driven without a GM, the variety in races and classes make it feel more like a traditional RPG and not just for stat blocks waiting for you to just kind of roll through and experience things. I also love that it comes with NPCs and shops and everything else kind of put in there for you to roll with, to role play with. It gives you prices of things, descriptions of things. I love that. And then you get quests. So what does it actually feel like to play? You generate dungeons using tools in the book. All you need is obviously a pencil and 2d6. You move room by room, facing unique enemies, dealing with traps and events, and making choices about risk versus reward. Obviously, you name things by this, and it goes through descriptions of what it would be like in that place, and obviously it goes through level right here for you. But it's not just that they're rooms, they have marks on them already, so you know if there's an event, if there's a combat, what kind of combat, if there's an altar, if there's peril. It goes through everything, and then you get the things to roll for on the side. The combat is a little bit more in depth, like it is a simple roll off, but it's still snappy enough to keep things moving and interesting. And between dungeons, you can head back to the town, you can level up, shop for equipment, and make decisions about how you kind of want to progress. So if you wish your solo 4 Against Darkness Delves had a bit more board game sort of skeleton, or that your dungeon has more of a character growth in it, which, you know, it all depends on the person how they play a solo RPG. With that, that's fine. But it's got a bit more of a character growth, a story, continuity in this that kind of sits in the middle of space. Okay, so why do I keep calling this a love letter for 4 Against Darkness? It's not officially related at all, but if you kind of look at the shape of it, it's a book. It's pen and paper dungeon crawl, like most solo RPGs, unless they're a journal of some sort. You run a 4-hero party, Dungeons are generated from the book, like all of the For Against Darkness and most solo RPGs, technically. It's designed so that you can jump in with minimal prep, learn as you go, and play in short, satisfying sessions. It doesn't have to be these long things. For me, this hits a lot of the same buttons For Against Darkness does, but it's very different coat of paint on it. So if you love For Against Darkness like I do, and you've been thinking, I wish there was something in this space with a bit more crunch and maybe a full campaign kind of baked into the mold, Order of Eventide really does that. So that's kind of my first take on Order of Eventide. The art, the straightforwardness of it, it's... If you wanted to sit down and play it with yourself or with others, it will literally take you a minute or two tops to create a character before you can all just dive straight into it, which is the main thing I think is perfect about it. The sheer amount of races and classes that you have just for this one book, this main book. This is edition 1, the first edition, so there's going to be more, hopefully. But if you want to see this in action, let me know in the comments. I'm very tempted to run a live or record a playthrough on the channel. I know I'm going to be showing you how, in the next video, to do with Eventide, I am going to be doing a character creation to show you how fast, easy, and simple it is. It's literally like seconds. It's going to be the most shortest video on my channel. But if you want a live or a recorded video playthrough of this, let me know down below. My main question is, have you ever played Eventide? And what race class combo would you build or have you built first? Drop your thoughts down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe for more solo RPG and gamebook content, or bookish things, because I do other books, like horror, fantasy, and all that sort of jazz. But I'll see you probably lost low on torches and knee-deep in trouble in the next one. Thanks for watching. I'm the Bookworm. Go roll some dice.
I'm dodging the traps, I'm finding the loot, arguing with goblins in my pajamas and boots.